The Paleolithic Era. During the Paleolithic period, early human inhabitants of Spain thrived as hunter-gatherers, adapting to the diverse landscapes of the Iberian Peninsula. These early communities relied on their keen understanding of the environment to survive, utilizing a range of survival strategies. They hunted large game such as deer and wild boar, while also gathering edible plants, fruits, and nuts. This nomadic lifestyle required them to be highly mobile, following seasonal migrations of animals and the availability of resources. Key archaeological sites like Atapuerca and Altamira provide invaluable insights into the lives of these early humans. Atapuerca, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, has yielded some of the oldest hominid remains in Europe, dating back over 800,000 years. The findings here have significantly contributed to our understanding of human evolution and migration patterns. Meanwhile, the Cave of Altamira, famous for its stunning polychrome rock paintings, showcases the artistic expression of these early inhabitants. The vivid depictions of bison and other animals not only demonstrate their artistic skills, but also reflect their deep connection to the natural world. Cave art, in particular, plays a crucial role in understanding prehistoric culture. These artworks serve as a window into the beliefs, rituals, and social structures of early human societies. They suggest that these communities had a rich spiritual life and a profound respect for the animals they hunted. By studying these artistic expressions, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity of human thought and culture during the Paleolithic era, setting the stage for the rich tapestry of history that would follow in Spain. The Mesolithic period. The transition from the Paleolithic to the Mesolithic era marks a significant shift in human life, driven largely by changes in climate and environment. As the last ice age receded around 10,000 years ago, the Iberian Peninsula experienced a warming trend that transformed its landscapes. Forests began to flourish, and the availability of diverse flora and fauna increased, leading to new opportunities for early human inhabitants. This shift in climate not only altered the ecosystems, but also prompted hunter-gatherer communities to adapt their lifestyles to the changing environment. During the Mesolithic period, we see the development of new tools that reflect these adaptations. Microliths, small stone blades that could be attached to wooden shafts, became prevalent, allowing for more efficient hunting and gathering. These innovations indicate a growing sophistication in tool-making techniques, which played a crucial role in the survival of these communities. Additionally, social structures began to evolve, with evidence suggesting that groups became more organized and possibly settled in semi-permanent camps, taking advantage of the abundant resources available in their surroundings. Significant archaeological sites like the Cueva de los Murciélagos provide a glimpse into this transformative era. Located in southern Spain, this cave has yielded a wealth of artifacts, including tools and remnants of food, which highlight the daily lives of Mesolithic people. The findings here illustrate not only their survival strategies, but also their interactions with the environment. As we explore the Mesolithic period, we uncover the foundations of social complexity and technological advancement that would pave the way for future civilizations in Spain. The Neolithic Revolution. The Neolithic Revolution marks a pivotal moment in prehistoric Spain, characterized by significant agricultural advancements that transformed human societies. This era witnessed a profound shift from nomadic lifestyles to settled farming communities, as people began to cultivate crops and domesticate animals. The transition to agriculture allowed communities to establish permanent settlements, leading to the development of more complex social structures and a greater sense of stability. As early inhabitants of Spain embraced farming, they began to domesticate a variety of plants and animals. Key crops such as wheat, barley, and legumes became staples in their diets, while animals like sheep, goats, and cattle were raised for food, clothing, and labor. This newfound reliance on agriculture not only provided a more reliable food source, but also facilitated trade and interaction among different communities, fostering cultural exchange and innovation. Archaeological findings from sites like Los Millares illustrate the impact of the Neolithic Revolution on prehistoric Spain. Located in Almeria, Los Millares is known for its impressive megalithic structures and evidence of early agricultural practices. Excavations have uncovered storage facilities for surplus grain, indicating that these communities were not only farming, but also developing systems for managing resources. Additionally, the presence of burial sites and artifacts suggests a growing complexity in social organization and spiritual beliefs. As we examine the Neolithic Revolution, we see how these agricultural advancements laid the groundwork for the rise of civilizations in Spain. The shift to settled farming communities marked a turning point in human history, leading to innovations that would shape the cultural landscape for generations to come. The Bronze Age. The Bronze Age represents a transformative period in prehistoric Spain, marked by the emergence of metallurgy and the development of complex societies. This era saw the introduction of bronze, a powerful alloy of copper and tin, revolutionizing toolmaking and weaponry. The ability to create stronger and more durable tools significantly impacted daily life, enhancing agricultural productivity and facilitating advancements in various crafts. As bronze tools became more prevalent, trade networks began to flourish. Communities exchanged not only raw materials, but also finished goods, leading to increased interaction among different regions. This exchange of resources fostered economic growth and the establishment of social hierarchies, as those who controlled the production and distribution of bronze tools gained power and influence. The stratification of society became more pronounced, with distinct roles emerging for artisans, traders, and leaders. Significant archaeological sites like El Argar provide crucial insights into the complexities of Bronze Age societies in Spain. Located in southeastern Spain, El Argar is renowned for its well-preserved burial sites and evidence of advanced metallurgy. Excavations have revealed intricate bronze artifacts, pottery, and evidence of fortified settlements, indicating a society that was not only skilled in metalworking, but also organized in terms of defense and governance. The impact of bronze tools on warfare cannot be overstated. With the advent of stronger weapons, conflicts became more intense and organized, leading to the rise of warrior classes and fortified settlements. As we explore the Bronze Age, we uncover a period of innovation and complexity that laid the foundation for future civilizations in Spain, shaping the cultural and social landscape for centuries to come. Cultural developments. The artistic and cultural expressions of prehistoric Spain reveal a rich tapestry of human creativity and social organization. One of the most significant aspects of this cultural landscape is the construction of megalithic structures, such as dolmens. These impressive stone tombs, often built as burial sites, reflect the architectural ingenuity of early societies and their deep connection to the spiritual world. Dolmens served not only as final resting places for the deceased, but also as communal spaces for rituals and gatherings, highlighting the importance of collective identity in these communities. Rituals and burial practices played a crucial role in shaping the social fabric of prehistoric Spain. The way individuals were interred, often accompanied by grave goods such as pottery, tools, and ornaments, provides insights into their beliefs about the afterlife and the significance of ancestry. These practices fostered a sense of continuity and connection among community members, reinforcing social bonds and cultural identity. The elaborate nature of these rituals suggests that early societies placed great importance on honoring their dead and maintaining a relationship with their ancestors. Additionally, the influence of neighboring cultures on local traditions cannot be overlooked. As trade networks expanded and interactions with other groups increased, ideas and artistic styles began to flow into Spain. This cultural exchange enriched local traditions, leading to the incorporation of new motifs and techniques in pottery, sculpture, and other forms of artistic expression. As we explore the cultural developments of prehistoric Spain, we uncover a dynamic interplay of creativity, spirituality, and social organization that laid the groundwork for the diverse cultural heritage of the region. Conclusion. As we wrap up our exploration of prehistoric Spain, it's essential to reiterate the importance of understanding this rich history. From the early hunter-gatherers of the Paleolithic era to the complex societies of the Bronze Age, each phase of development has contributed to the cultural identity of Spain. By examining the artistic expressions, social structures, and technological advancements of these early inhabitants, we gain valuable insights into the evolution of human societies and the foundations of modern civilization. Reflecting on the journey through prehistoric Spain allows us to appreciate the resilience and adaptability of our ancestors. Their innovations in agriculture, metallurgy, and social organization laid the groundwork for the diverse cultures that would follow. Understanding these historical milestones not only enriches our knowledge of Spain, but also encourages us to consider the broader narrative of human history and our shared experiences. The Roman conquest. Picture this. It's the 3rd century BC, and the Iberian Peninsula is a patchwork of tribes and cultures. Enter the Romans, whose military prowess and strategic brilliance would forever alter the landscape of Spain. The conquest began in earnest around 218 BC, as Roman legions marched into the territory, driven by the desire for expansion and control over trade routes. But why is this conquest so significant? Well, it laid the foundation for what would become a rich cultural and linguistic legacy. The Romans brought with them not just their armies, but also their language, architecture, and governance, which would influence Spain for centuries to come. In this video, we'll highlight key events, such as the establishment of Roman provinces and the construction of iconic structures like aqueducts and amphitheaters. We'll also introduce you to notable figures, including Scipio Africanus, who played a crucial role in the conquest. So, buckle up as we embark on this journey through time, uncovering the layers of history that make Spain the vibrant country it is today. Pre-Roman Iberia. Before the Romans set foot on the Iberian Peninsula, it was a vibrant tapestry of diverse tribes and cultures. The landscape was home to various groups, including the Iberians, Celts, and Tartessians, each contributing to the rich cultural mosaic. The Iberians, primarily located in the eastern and southern regions, were known for their advanced agricultural practices and intricate pottery. Meanwhile, the Celts, who migrated from Central Europe, settled in the northern and western parts, bringing with them their unique customs and warrior traditions. The geopolitical landscape of pre-Roman Iberia was crucial for Rome's ambitions. The peninsula served as a strategic crossroads between the Mediterranean and the Atlantic, making it a valuable asset for trade and military operations. Key locations like Tartessos, a thriving trading hub in the southwest, attracted merchants from across the Mediterranean, showcasing the region's wealth and resources. This city was known for its rich deposits of silver and other minerals, which would later catch the eye of Roman conquerors. As we delve deeper into this era, we'll explore how these tribes interacted, their conflicts and alliances, setting the stage for the impending Roman conquest. The First Contact. The initial interactions between the Romans and the Iberians were significantly influenced by the backdrop of the Punic Wars, a series of conflicts between Rome and Carthage that spanned from 264 to 146 BC. As Rome sought to expand its influence and secure trade routes, the Iberian Peninsula emerged as a focal point due to its strategic location and resources. The Romans recognized that controlling this region would not only weaken Carthaginian power, but also enhance their own economic prospects. One of the key figures during this period was Scipio Africanus, a brilliant military commander who played a pivotal role in the Second Punic War. His campaigns in Iberia were instrumental in establishing Roman footholds, as he sought to undermine Carthaginian control over the region. Scipio's victories laid the groundwork for further Roman incursions, showcasing the importance of Iberia as a launching pad for future military operations. The strategic significance of the Iberian Peninsula cannot be overstated. Its fertile lands, rich mineral resources, and access to both the Mediterranean and Atlantic made it a coveted prize for Rome. As we explore these early interactions, we'll uncover how they set the stage for the eventual Roman conquest and the profound transformation of the Iberian landscape. The conquest begins. The early stages of the Roman conquest of Spain were marked by a series of military campaigns that showcased the might of the Roman legions and the fierce resistance of local tribes. Following the victories of Scipio Africanus, Roman generals like Gnaeus, Cornelius Scipio, and Publius Cornelius Scipio continued to push deeper into the Iberian Peninsula. Their campaigns were characterized by strategic military maneuvers and the establishment of fortified bases to secure their gains. One significant battle during this period was the Battle of Ilipa in 206 BC, where Roman forces decisively defeated the Carthaginian army, further solidifying their control over southern Spain. This victory opened the door for Roman expansion into the interior regions, but it also ignited fierce resistance from local tribes, such as the Celtiberians and the Lusitanians. These tribes were not willing to surrender their lands without a fight, leading to a series of skirmishes and uprisings. The resistance of these local tribes played a crucial role in shaping the Roman approach to conquest. Their knowledge of the terrain and guerrilla tactics posed significant challenges to the Roman legions. As we delve deeper into this tumultuous period, we'll explore the dynamics of conflict and cooperation that defined the early stages of the Roman conquest in Spain. Key battles and events. As the Roman conquest of Spain unfolded, several key battles and events played a pivotal role in determining the outcome of this monumental campaign. One of the most significant confrontations was the Battle of Ilipa in 206 BC. This battle marked a turning point as Roman forces under the command of Scipio Africanus faced off against the Carthaginian army. Utilizing superior tactics, the Romans executed a double envelopment maneuver, effectively encircling their opponents and securing a decisive victory. This battle not only weakened Carthaginian influence in the region, but also bolstered Roman morale and territorial ambitions. On the other side, the Iberians employed guerrilla tactics, leveraging their knowledge of the local terrain to launch surprise attacks against Roman supply lines and encampments. Their ability to mobilize quickly and strike unexpectedly posed significant challenges to the more structured Roman legions. The impact of these battles was profound. Victories like Ilipa opened the door for further Roman expansion into the interior of the peninsula, while the fierce resistance from local tribes highlighted the complexities of the conquest. As we examine these major battles and events, we'll uncover how they shaped the course of history in Spain, setting the stage for the eventual Roman dominance that would last for centuries. Romanization of Spain. The process of Romanization in the conquered territories of Spain was a transformative journey that reshaped the cultural and social landscape of the region. As Roman legions established control, they brought with them their language, customs, and governance, laying the groundwork for a new societal framework. Latin became the dominant language, influencing local dialects and eventually evolving into the Spanish language we know today. One of the key aspects of Romanization was the establishment of cities that served as administrative and cultural hubs. Cities like Tarraco, now Tarragona, and Emerita Augusta, present-day Merida, were founded during this period. These cities were designed with Roman urban planning principles, featuring forums, temples, and amphitheaters, which not only showcased Roman architectural prowess, but also facilitated the spread of Roman culture and governance. The effects of Romanization on local populations were profound. While some Iberians embraced Roman customs and integrated into the new societal structure, others resisted the changes, leading to a complex interplay of cultures. Traditional practices and beliefs began to blend with Roman influences, creating a unique cultural identity that would define the region for centuries. As we delve deeper into this fascinating process, we'll explore how Romanization left an indelible mark on Spain, shaping its future and identity. Resistance and revolts. Despite the extensive Romanization of Spain, the Roman Empire faced significant resistance from local populations throughout its rule. One of the most notable uprisings was the Celtiberian Wars, which erupted in the 2nd century BC. The Celtiberians, a confederation of tribes in central Spain, fiercely opposed Roman encroachment on their lands and way of life. Their resistance was marked by a series of battles and skirmishes that showcased their determination to maintain autonomy. Key figures emerged during these resistance movements, such as Viriathus, a charismatic leader of the Lusitanians. Viriathus led a guerrilla campaign against Roman forces, employing tactics that capitalized on the rugged terrain of the Iberian Peninsula. His ability to unite various tribes against a common enemy made him a symbol of resistance and a thorn in the side of Roman authorities. The consequences of these revolts were significant for both sides. For the Romans, the uprisings highlighted the challenges of maintaining control over a diverse and resistant population, leading to costly military campaigns and a re-evaluation of their strategies. For the local tribes, while some were ultimately subdued, their resistance fostered a sense of identity and unity that would resonate through history. As we explore these uprisings, we'll uncover the complexities of Roman rule and the enduring spirit of resistance in Spain. The legacy of Roman rule. The long-term effects of Roman conquest in Spain are profound and far-reaching, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's culture, language, and infrastructure. One of the most significant legacies is the influence of the Latin language, which evolved into the Spanish we speak today. The widespread adoption of Latin not only unified diverse tribes under a common linguistic framework, but also facilitated communication and cultural exchange across the region. Architectural achievements from this era are equally noteworthy. The Romans constructed impressive aqueducts, such as the famous Aqueduct of Segovia, which exemplify their engineering prowess. These structures not only provided essential water supply to cities, but also showcased the grandeur of Roman architecture. Additionally, the extensive network of roads built during this time laid the foundation for trade and military movement, connecting various regions of Spain and enhancing economic development. Roman governance also had a lasting influence on future Spanish history. The administrative systems established by the Romans, including legal frameworks and local governance structures, set the stage for the evolution of Spain's political landscape. As we analyze the legacy of Roman rule, we'll uncover how these elements combined to shape Spain's identity and development, influencing everything from language to infrastructure and governance for centuries to come. Conclusion. In this video, we've journeyed through the remarkable history of Spain, focusing on the pivotal role of the Roman conquest in shaping the nation. We explored the early interactions between the Romans and the Iberians, highlighting key battles such as the Battle of Ilipa and the resistance faced from local tribes. The process of Romanization introduced significant cultural, linguistic, and architectural changes, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to influence Spain today. The establishment of cities like Tarraco and Emerita Augusta exemplified the Roman commitment to governance and urban development, while the impressive aqueducts and roads showcased their engineering prowess. We also examined the resistance movements, such as the Celtiberian Wars, which underscored the complexities of Roman rule and the enduring spirit of local populations. As we reflect on the historical impact of the Roman conquest, it's clear that this era laid the foundation for modern Spain's identity, culture, and governance. We encourage you to think about how these historical events resonate in today's society. Welcome to our exploration of the Visigothic Kingdom, a pivotal chapter in Spain's rich tapestry of history. The Visigoths, a Germanic tribe, played a crucial role in shaping the cultural and political landscape of the Iberian Peninsula during the early Middle Ages. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the Visigoths established their kingdom in what is now modern-day Spain, marking a significant transition from Roman rule to a new era of governance and society. This kingdom was not just a political entity, it was a melting pot of cultures where Roman traditions blended with Germanic customs, laying the groundwork for the future of Spain. The Visigoths contributed to the development of early Spanish law, architecture, and even religious practices, influencing the nation's identity for centuries to come. In this video, we will delve into the rise and fall of the Visigothic kingdom, exploring its key figures, major events, and the eventual decline that paved the way for Islamic rule in Al-Andalus. Join us as we uncover the fascinating story of the Visigoths, a people whose legacy continues to resonate in Spain today. Get ready to embark on a journey through time that highlights the significance of this remarkable kingdom. Origins of the Visigoths. The story of the Visigoths begins in Eastern Europe, where they emerged as one of the many Germanic tribes during the late Roman Empire. Initially settled in the region around the Danube River, the Visigoths began a significant migration westward in the late 4th century, driven by various factors, including pressure from the Huns and the search for new lands. This migration would set the stage for their eventual establishment in Spain. As they moved through the Roman Empire, the Visigoths had numerous interactions with Roman forces. In 376 AD, they sought refuge within the empire's borders, only to face mistreatment and exploitation. This led to a series of conflicts, culminating in the famous sack of Rome in 410 AD, led by their king, Alaric I. Alaric's audacious conquest not only showcased the Visigoths' military prowess, but also marked a turning point in the decline of Roman authority. Following their victory in Rome, the Visigoths continued their conquests, eventually settling in the region of Hispania. Their early successes laid the foundation for the Visigothic kingdom, which would flourish in the Iberian Peninsula. The Visigothic conquest of Spain. The early 5th century marked a tumultuous period in the history of the Iberian Peninsula as the Roman Empire faced significant decline and fragmentation. The fall of Roman authority created a power vacuum that various tribes, including the Visigoths, were eager to exploit. Seizing the opportunity, the Visigoths began their conquest of Hispania, capitalizing on the weakened state of Roman defenses. Key battles during this period showcased the Visigoths' military strategies and adaptability. One of the most notable confrontations was the Battle of the River Borgo, where the Visigoths, under the leadership of King Alaric II, effectively utilized their cavalry and superior tactics to defeat the remaining Roman forces. This victory not only solidified their foothold in the region, but also encouraged further expansion into the Iberian Peninsula. As the Visigoths continued their campaign, they established Toledo as their capital, transforming it into a center of political and cultural life. This strategic choice allowed them to consolidate power and govern effectively over the diverse populations within their realm. The establishment of Toledo marked the beginning of a new era in Spanish history, as the Visigoths laid the foundations for a kingdom that would influence the region for centuries to come. The reign of Theodoric II. The reign of Theodoric II, which began in 453 AD, was a pivotal period for the Visigothic kingdom as it sought to consolidate power and unify its diverse territories. Theodoric II recognized the importance of establishing a cohesive identity among the various groups within his realm, and he worked diligently to strengthen the bonds between the Visigoths and the local Roman population. His efforts included promoting intermarriage and encouraging the adoption of Roman customs, which helped to foster a sense of unity in a kingdom marked by cultural diversity. During his reign, Theodoric II also oversaw significant political and cultural developments. He implemented legal reforms that aimed to create a more structured governance system, drawing inspiration from Roman law. This not only enhanced the administration of justice, but also contributed to the kingdom's stability. Additionally, the flourishing of arts and literature during this time reflected the blending of Visigothic and Roman traditions, enriching the cultural landscape of the kingdom. However, Theodoric II faced numerous challenges, both from internal factions and external threats. Rival factions within the Visigothic nobility often vied for power, while the encroaching influence of the Byzantine Empire and other tribes posed a constant threat. Despite these challenges, Theodoric II's reign laid the groundwork for a more unified and resilient Visigothic kingdom, setting the stage for future developments in Spanish history. The Council of Toledo. The Councils of Toledo played a crucial role in shaping the legal and social framework of the Visigothic kingdom, particularly during the 6th and 7th centuries. These councils served as vital gatherings for bishops and nobles, aiming to unify religious practices among the diverse populations of the kingdom. By addressing theological disputes and establishing a common doctrine, the councils helped to solidify the Christian faith as a unifying force, bridging the gap between the Visigoths and the Hispano-Roman populace. One of the most significant outcomes of the Councils of Toledo was the introduction of legal reforms that would have a lasting impact on Visigothic society. These reforms included the codification of laws that aimed to protect the rights of both Visigoths and Hispano-Romans, promoting a sense of justice and equality. The most notable of these legal compilations was the Liber Judiciorum, which sought to harmonize the legal systems of the two groups, fostering cooperation and coexistence. The impact of these councils extended beyond legal matters. They also transformed the relationship between the Visigoths and the Hispano-Romans. By promoting shared religious beliefs and legal standards, the councils helped to diminish tensions and encourage a more integrated society. This legacy of unity and cooperation would influence the cultural landscape of Spain for generations to come. Cultural achievements. The Visigothic kingdom made significant cultural contributions that left a lasting imprint on Spain, particularly in the realms of architecture, literature, and art. One of the most notable advancements during this period was in architecture, where the Visigoths developed a unique style that blended Roman techniques with their own aesthetic sensibilities. This is exemplified in the construction of churches, such as the Basilica of San Juan de Baños, which showcases intricate brickwork and decorative elements that reflect both Visigothic and Roman influences. In literature, the Visigothic period produced important works that contributed to the intellectual landscape of Spain. Notable figures such as Isidore of Seville emerged during this time, whose encyclopedic writings, including Etymologiae, sought to compile and preserve knowledge from various fields, including theology, history, and science. His works not only influenced later medieval scholarship, but also exemplified the blending of Visigothic and Roman thought. Art during the Visigothic era also flourished, with intricate metalwork, jewelry, and illuminated manuscripts showcasing the craftsmanship of the time. The fusion of Visigothic and Roman cultures created a rich tapestry of artistic expression that celebrated both heritage and innovation. This cultural synthesis laid the groundwork for the diverse artistic traditions that would continue to evolve in Spain, highlighting the Visigoths' enduring legacy in the nation's history. Decline and fall. The decline and eventual fall of the Visigothic kingdom were influenced by a combination of internal strife and external pressures. One of the primary factors contributing to their downfall was the persistent internal conflict, characterized by succession crises and power struggles among the nobility. As the kingdom expanded, rival factions emerged, each vying for control, which weakened the central authority and created divisions within the Visigothic leadership. This fragmentation made it increasingly difficult to present a united front against external threats. The most significant external challenge came with the Muslim invasion in 711 AD. Following the death of King Roderick, the Visigothic forces were unable to effectively resist the advancing Muslim armies, which swiftly conquered much of the Iberian Peninsula. The rapid fall of key cities, including Toledo, marked the end of Visigothic rule and the beginning of a new era in Spanish history. Despite their decline, the Visigoths left a lasting legacy in Spain. Their contributions to law, culture, and architecture continued to influence the region long after their fall. The blending of Visigothic and Hispano-Roman traditions laid the groundwork for the rich cultural heritage of Spain, reminding us that even in decline, the Visigoths played a crucial role in shaping the identity of the nation. Legacy of the Visigoths. The legacy of the Visigothic kingdom continues to resonate in modern Spain, particularly through their influence on the legal systems that followed. The Visigoths were pioneers in codifying laws, with the Liber Judiciorum serving as a foundational legal text that laid the groundwork for later Spanish law. This early legal framework emphasized justice and equality, principles that would echo throughout the centuries and shape the development of Spain's legal traditions. Culturally and historically, the Visigothic reign marked a significant period of transition in the Iberian Peninsula. Their ability to blend Visigothic and Roman customs created a unique cultural identity that enriched the region's heritage. This fusion is evident in various aspects of Spanish culture, from architecture to literature, and continues to be celebrated as part of Spain's diverse history. In contemporary Spain, the memory of the Visigoths is preserved through various cultural references, including festivals, historical sites, and academic studies. Their contributions to the formation of Spanish identity are acknowledged in educational curricula and cultural discussions, ensuring that the Visigoths are remembered not merely as conquerors, but as integral architects of Spain's rich and multifaceted heritage. This enduring legacy invites us to appreciate the complexities of Spain's past and the diverse influences that have shaped its present. Conclusion. In this exploration of the Visigothic kingdom in Spain, we've journeyed through a fascinating chapter of history that highlights the rise, achievements, and eventual decline of this influential realm. We discussed the origins of the Visigoths, their conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, and the significant cultural and legal contributions they made during their reign. The establishment of Toledo as their capital and the impact of the councils of Toledo were pivotal in unifying religious practices and shaping the legal framework that would influence future Spanish law. As we reflect on the legacy of the Visigoths, it's essential to remember their role in blending cultures and laying the groundwork for modern Spain. Their story is a testament to the complexities of history and the enduring influences that shape our identities today. A forgotten golden age. When people think of medieval Europe, they often imagine a dark and chaotic time. But in the south of Spain, something very different was happening. From the 8th to the 15th century, a region known as Al-Andalus, or Islamic Spain, became one of the most advanced societies in the world. While much of Europe struggled, cities like Córdoba, Granada, and Seville were glowing centers of science, art, and learning. This story begins in the year 711 AD, when Muslim forces crossed from North Africa into Spain. They didn't just arrive with armies, they brought books, ideas, architecture, and a new way of governing that would transform the Iberian Peninsula forever. For nearly 800 years, Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived, sometimes peacefully, sometimes tensely, under Islamic rule. Together, they created a civilization that would later help spark the European Renaissance. This is the story of Islamic Spain, its rise, its brilliance, its people, and its lasting legacy.
The arrival of Islam in Spain. Our story begins with a man named Tariq ibn Ziyad. In 711 AD, Tariq, a Berber general serving the Umayyad Caliphate, crossed the narrow strait separating North Africa from Spain. Legend says that after landing, he ordered his ships burned behind him and told his soldiers, "The enemy is before you and the sea is behind you." Whether this speech actually happened or not, the message was clear. There was no turning back. Tariq's forces soon faced the Visigothic King Roderick at the Battle of Guadalete. The battle ended in disaster for the Visigoths. King Roderick disappeared. Some say he died on this battlefield. Others believe he fled and was never seen again. With Visigothic rule collapsing, Muslim armies advanced rapidly. Cities like Toledo, Cordoba, and Seville fell one by one. But conquest alone doesn't explain their success. Many local communities were unhappy with Visigothic rulers, heavy taxation, and religious persecution. In contrast, Islamic governance allowed Christians and Jews to keep their faiths in exchange for taxes. This policy helped stabilize the region and encouraged cooperation rather than constant rebellion. Within just a few years, most of the Iberian Peninsula was under Muslim control, and Al-Andalus was born. The rise of Cordoba and the Umayyad Caliphate. One of the most fascinating figures in this story is Abd al-Rahman I, a prince who escaped the fall of the Umayyad dynasty in the Middle East. After his family was massacred by the Abbasids, Abd al-Rahman fled across North Africa, constantly hunted. Eventually, he reached Spain, alone, homeless, but determined. Against all odds, he seized control of Al-Andalus in 756 AD and established an independent Umayyad state. His descendants would later turn Cordoba into one of the greatest cities on earth. By the 10th century, under Abd al-Rahman III, Cordoba became the capital of a powerful caliphate. At its peak, the city had paved streets and streetlights, public baths and hospitals, libraries containing hundreds of thousands of books. While kings elsewhere bragged about castles, Cordoba bragged about knowledge. Abd al-Rahman III declared himself caliph in 929 AD, signaling that Al-Andalus was no longer a distant province. It was a rival to Baghdad and Constantinople, a city of scholars, doctors, and thinkers. Imagine walking through Cordoba around the year 1000. You might pass a Jewish physician named Hasdai ibn Shaprut, serving at the caliph's court. Fluent in multiple languages, Hasdai helped translate Greek medical texts into Arabic, texts that Europe would rediscover centuries later. Or you might encounter al-Zahrawi, one of the greatest surgeons in history. He developed surgical tools still recognizable today and wrote medical manuals used in Europe for over 500 years. Later, in the 12th century, another giant emerged, Ibn Rushd, known in the West as Averroes. He passionately defended reason and logic, arguing that faith and science could coexist. His writings deeply influenced Christian thinkers like Thomas Aquinas. At the same time, a Jewish scholar named Maimonides, forced to flee Cordoba due to political instability, would go on to become one of the most important Jewish philosophers and doctors in history. These were not isolated geniuses. They thrived because Al-Andalus encouraged debate, translation, and shared learning across cultures. Art, architecture, and the beauty of Al-Andalus. Islamic Spain wasn't just about books, it was also about beauty. The Great Mosque of Cordoba, with its red and white arches, wasn't just a place of worship, it was a symbol of harmony, mathematics, and artistic mastery. Later in Granada, the Alhambra rose above the city like a poem written in stone. Its walls are covered with calligraphy that reads, "There is no victor but God." Water flowed through its courtyards. Gardens symbolized paradise, and every detail reflected a deep connection between art and spirituality. These buildings weren't designed to intimidate, they were designed to inspire. The Reconquista, a slow turning of the tide. Beginning in the 11th century, Christian kingdoms in the north began pushing south in a process known as the Reconquista. One of the most important moments came in 1212 at the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa, where Christian forces dealt a crushing blow to Muslim power. As territories fell, life became harder for Muslim and Jewish communities. Some converted, some fled, and others lived under increasing pressure. By the late 15th century, only one Muslim kingdom remained, Granada. Its last ruler, Boabdil, surrendered the city in 1492. As he left, legend says he looked back at the Alhambra and wept. His mother supposedly told him, "Do not cry like a woman for what you could not defend like a man." With Granada's fall, nearly 800 years of Islamic rule came to an end. The lasting legacy of Islamic Spain. Even after its fall, Islamic Spain never truly disappeared. Arabic words remain embedded in Spanish, especially in agriculture, science, and architecture. Techniques in medicine, mathematics, and philosophy flowed into Europe and helped ignite the Renaissance. The buildings still stand, the ideas still matter, and the story still challenges the idea that civilizations must clash rather than collaborate. Al-Andalus reminds us that coexistence, though imperfect, can produce extraordinary beauty and knowledge. Conclusion: why this history matters. Islamic Spain was more than an empire. It was an experiment in shared civilization. It showed what can happen when cultures exchange ideas instead of destroying them. Its legacy lives on in Spain's cities, language, and identity, and in the foundations of modern Europe.
Imagine living in a land where borders change not in decades, but over centuries, where cities rise, fall, and rise again under different flags. This is the story of the Reconquista, one of the longest and most dramatic struggles in European history. For nearly 800 years, Christian kingdoms fought to reclaim the Iberian Peninsula from Muslim rule. But the Reconquista wasn't just about battles and castles. It reshaped Spain's religion, culture, politics, and identity, and it still echoes today. In this video, we'll follow kings, warriors, scholars, and ordinary people as they live through this turbulent era. From the first Muslim invasion in 711, all the way to the fall of Granada in 1492. Along the way, we'll see moments of war, cooperation, betrayal, and coexistence that helped turn Spain into the nation we recognize today. So, let's go back to where it all began. The origins of the Reconquista. In the year 711 AD, Muslim forces from North Africa crossed the Strait of Gibraltar. Within just a few years, the Umayyad Caliphate swept across most of the Iberian Peninsula, creating a new Islamic territory known as Al-Andalus. Cities like Cordoba and Toledo didn't just fall, they thrived. Libraries expanded, science flourished, and Al-Andalus became one of the most advanced regions in Europe. But not everyone accepted this new rule. High in the mountains of northern Spain lived a small group of Christian holdouts. Among them was a nobleman named Pelayo. According to legend, Pelayo refused to bow to Muslim authority and rallied a tiny force of fighters. In 722, Pelayo and his followers faced a much larger Muslim army at the Battle of Covadonga. Against all odds, they won. Was it a massive military victory? No. But symbolically, it was everything. This moment lit the first spark of the Reconquista and gave rise to the Kingdom of Asturias, followed later by Leon and Castile. From this point forward, the idea of reclaiming Iberia would never disappear. Kings, warriors, and turning points. As centuries passed, the Reconquista gained momentum and larger players entered the stage. One of the most decisive moments came in 1212 at the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa. A united Christian coalition led by Alfonso VIII confronted the powerful Almohad Caliphate. When the Christian armies broke through the enemy lines, Muslim dominance in Iberia began to collapse for good. But not all heroes were kings. One of the most famous figures of the Reconquista was El Cid, also known as Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar. El Cid was a complicated man, sometimes fighting for Christian rulers, sometimes serving Muslim leaders. His story shows that the Reconquista wasn't always black and white. In 1094, El Cid captured Valencia and ruled it independently. To his followers, he became a symbol of honor and loyalty. To historians, he represents the messy reality of medieval Spain. Later, under Ferdinand III, Christian forces captured Córdoba in 1236 and Seville in 1248, cities that had once been jewels of Islamic civilization. By the late 1200s, Muslim rule had been pushed into a single southern stronghold, Granada. Faith and the idea of holy war. Religion was the fuel that kept the Reconquista burning. The Catholic Church framed the conflict as a holy mission, promising spiritual rewards to those who fought. Warriors believed they weren't just conquering land, they were serving God. Monks and bishops blessed armies. Monasteries supplied food and shelter. Some church leaders even rode into battle themselves. This religious framing united rival kingdoms under a shared cause, but it also hardened attitudes. Over time, compromise became harder, and tolerance began to fade. Faith inspired courage, but it also justified brutality, a world of shared knowledge. Despite constant warfare, Christians, Muslims, and Jews often lived side by side, especially in Al-Andalus. Muslim scholars preserved and expanded ancient Greek knowledge. Thinkers like Averroes and Avicenna shaped medicine, philosophy, and science across Europe. Architectural wonders like the Great Mosque of Córdoba and the Alhambra still stand today. Silent reminders of a time when cultures collided, blended, and borrowed from one another. This cultural exchange would later help ignite the European Renaissance. The fall of Granada. In 1492, the Reconquista reached its dramatic finale. The last Muslim ruler of Granada, Boabdil, surrendered the city to Ferdinand II and Isabella I. Legend says that as Boabdil left Granada, he stopped to look back and wept. His mother reportedly told him, "Do not cry like a woman for what you could not defend like a man." With Granada's fall, Muslim rule in Iberia ended, and Spain entered a new era. The lasting legacy. The Reconquista unified Spain, but at a cost. Religious minorities were forced to convert, flee, or face persecution under the Spanish Inquisition. A once diverse society became increasingly rigid. Yet the Reconquista also fueled Spain's rise as a global empire, launching voyages that reshaped the world, starting with Columbus also in 1492. Spain emerged powerful, proud, and deeply shaped by centuries of conflict. Conclusion. The Reconquista wasn't just a long war. It was a transformation. For nearly 8 centuries, Spain was shaped by faith, conflict, cooperation, and cultural exchange. Kingdoms rose, cities changed hands, and generations lived, knowing that history was unfolding around them. By 1492, the fighting was finally over. Spain was united under one crown, one faith, and one vision. But instead of peace, something even bigger was about to begin. Because the same year Granada fell, Spain turned its eyes beyond Europe, toward the oceans, the unknown, and the promise of unimaginable wealth and power. In 1492, Spain stood at a crossroads. After nearly 8 centuries of war, the fighting at home was finally over. Granada had fallen. The Reconquista was complete. For the first time, Spain was united under one crown, one faith, and one vision. But instead of peace, Spain looked outward, toward the oceans, toward lands no European empire had ever ruled, toward riches, glory, and a destiny that would reshape the world. This is the story of how a newly united kingdom became the Spanish Empire, one of the largest and most powerful empires in human history. An empire that stretched across continents. An empire built on exploration, conquest, faith, and unimaginable wealth. And an empire whose legacy is still felt today. Origins of the Spanish Empire. The rise of the Spanish Empire begins with unity. In the late 15th century, the marriage of Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella of Castile brought together two powerful kingdoms. Their rule created a centralized Spanish state, strong enough to think beyond its borders for the first time. That strength was tested in 1492, a year that would change history forever. With royal backing, Christopher Columbus sailed west, searching for a new route to Asia. Instead, he reached the Caribbean, opening Europe's door to the Americas. Spain had found a new world, and with it, endless possibility. Within years, Spanish expeditions spread across the Caribbean and onto the American mainland. What began as exploration quickly turned into conquest. Spain was no longer just a European power, it was becoming a global one. Conquest of the Americas. The expansion of the Spanish Empire was swift and brutal. In 1519, Hernán Cortés arrived in Mexico, where the Aztec Empire ruled millions. By exploiting internal rivalries, wielding advanced weapons, and aided by devastating European diseases, Cortés captured Tenochtitlan in 1521. Just a decade later, Francisco Pizarro repeated this pattern in South America. He captured the Inca ruler Atahualpa and dismantled one of the largest empires in the Americas. Vast territories fell under Spanish control. For Spain, this meant rivers of silver and gold. For indigenous societies, it meant collapse, suffering, and resistance. The conquest of the Americas reshaped entire continents and set the foundations of a global empire built on extraction and control. The Golden Age. The wealth of the New World fueled Spain's Golden Age. From the late 15th to the early 17th century, Spain became Europe's dominant power. Gold and silver poured in from the Americas, funding armies, cathedrals, and culture. This was an age of artistic brilliance. Writers like Miguel de Cervantes produced works that still define world literature. Artists like El Greco created haunting spiritual masterpieces. Spain became a center of art, faith, and imperial ambition. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. The empire was spending faster than it could sustain. Wars multiplied, inflation rose, and power came at an ever-growing cost. The Spanish Armada. In 1588, Spain attempted to assert its dominance over Europe itself. The Spanish Armada, 130 ships strong, was launched to invade England and restore Catholic rule. It was meant to be an unstoppable force. Instead, it became a disaster. English naval tactics, poor planning, and violent storms shattered the Armada. The defeat shocked Europe and marked a turning point in global power. Spain was still mighty, but no longer invincible. England and the Dutch began to rise. The balance of power was shifting. Decline of the Spanish Empire. The decline of the Spanish Empire was slow but relentless. Constant warfare drained the treasury. The flood of silver caused runaway inflation. Territories became harder to govern and defend. Spain lost Portugal in 1640. Colonial revolts grew more frequent, European rivals challenged Spanish dominance at sea and on land. By the 18th and early 19th centuries, independence movements swept through the Americas. One by one, Spain's colonies broke away. The empire that once spanned the globe began to unravel. Legacy of the Spanish Empire. Yet the Spanish Empire never truly disappeared. Its legacy is everywhere. Spanish is now one of the most spoken languages on Earth. Catholicism spread across continents. Cities, laws, borders, and cultures still carry the imprint of Spanish rule. Architecture, art, and identity across Latin America reflect a blend of indigenous and Spanish worlds, sometimes creative, often painful, always complex. Modern Spain itself remains shaped by this imperial past, still wrestling with questions of identity, memory, and power. Conclusion. The Spanish Empire was born from unity and sustained by ambition. It reshaped continents, connected worlds, and altered the course of history. It brought art, faith, and culture, but also conquest, exploitation, and suffering. Like all great empires, it was built by humans, capable of vision and destruction in equal measure. And its story reminds us of a simple truth. History doesn't move in straight lines. It expands, collides, and leaves echoes that last for centuries. Imagine a country so divided that neighbors become enemies, where politics turns into violence and ideology becomes a reason to kill. This was Spain in the 1930s. From 1936 to 1939, Spain was torn apart by a brutal civil war that would decide not only who ruled the country, but what Spain would be. Democracy or dictatorship, revolution or tradition, left or right. The Spanish Civil War was not just a Spanish conflict. It became a testing ground for modern warfare, a warning sign for Europe, and a preview of the global catastrophe that would soon follow. World War II. Brother fought brother. Cities burned, and the scars would last for generations. A country on the edge, background and causes. The war did not begin overnight. In 1931, Spain became a republic, overthrowing its monarchy and promising reform. Land redistribution, workers' rights, secular government, regional autonomy. To many Spaniards, this was hope. To others, it was chaos. Conservatives, landowners, military officers, and the Catholic Church saw the Republic as a threat to tradition, order, and faith. Meanwhile, workers and peasants demanded faster, deeper change. Spain split along class lines, regional lines, and ideological lines. Tensions exploded in 1934 when a miners' uprising in Asturias was crushed by the army, an early sign of what was coming. Political assassinations followed. Extremism grew on both sides. By July 1936, Spain was a powder keg. When parts of the military launched a coup, the country didn't fall quickly. Instead, it shattered. Two Spains, Republicans versus nationalists. From the chaos emerged two opposing camps. The Republicans, a fragile coalition of socialists, communists, anarchists, and liberal Democrats. They defended the Republic and believed they were fighting fascism itself. Figures like Dolores Ibárruri, La Pasionaria, became symbols of resistance, her speeches echoing across besieged cities. The Nationalists. Led by General Francisco Franco, they promised order, tradition, and unity. They were backed by conservative elites, monarchists, the Catholic Church. Franco did not just want victory, he wanted total control. This was not just a civil war, it was an ideological war about the future of Spain. A war that shocked the world. Key events. One of the first major tests came in Madrid. In late 1936, nationalist forces attempted to take the capital. Madrid refused to fall. The siege became a symbol of resistance, with civilians and fighters holding the line under relentless bombardment. But the war grew darker. In 1937, the small Basque town of Guernica was bombed from the air by German planes supporting Franco. The attack shocked the world and inspired Picasso's haunting masterpiece. By 1938, the Republicans made one last gamble at the Battle of the Ebro, the largest battle of the war. They fought desperately, but Franco's forces prevailed. In January 1939, Barcelona fell. 2 months later, Madrid followed. The war was over. A global proxy war, international involvement. The Spanish Civil War became a mirror of Europe's future. Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy backed Franco with planes, tanks, and troops. The Soviet Union supported the Republicans. Thousands of volunteers from around the world joined the international brigades, believing Spain was the front line against fascism. Meanwhile, Britain and France chose non-intervention, a decision that left the Republic dangerously isolated. Spain became a battlefield where new weapons, new tactics, and new horrors were tested before being unleashed on the world. Victory and a long silence. In 1939, Franco emerged victorious. Peace did not follow. Instead came dictatorship. For nearly 4 decades, Spain lived under Franco's rule. Political repression, censorship, executions, and prisons. Forced silence. Regional identities were crushed. Opposition vanished or fled into exile. The war had destroyed Spain's economy, its infrastructure, and its trust in itself. Recovery would take decades. Art, memory, and meaning. Yet the war did not end in silence everywhere. Artists and writers tried to understand the trauma. George Orwell, who fought in Spain, exposed the war's brutal contradictions in Homage to Catalonia. Picasso's Guernica became one of the most powerful anti-war images ever created. The conflict reshaped Spanish identity and still divides memory today. Mass graves are still being uncovered. Debates over monuments still rage. The past is not past. Conclusion: why the Spanish Civil War still matters. The Spanish Civil War was more than a national tragedy. It was a warning. It showed how fragile democracy can be, how quickly politics can turn into violence, and how ideology, once armed, can destroy a nation from within. Spain survived, but it was forever changed. And its story reminds us that history does not repeat itself exactly, but it echoes. If you want to understand the modern world, you cannot ignore what happened in Spain between 1936 and 1939. Because the Spanish Civil War was not just about Spain, it was about the future.